In the fall of 2009, the Jamison family, Bobby Dale, Cheryl Lynn, and their 6-year-old daughter Madison set out on what seemed like a routine trip. They were planning on buying a 40-acre plot of land in the Red Oak Mountainous area of Oklahoma, a place known for its serene landscapes, but also steeped in local legends and folklore. The family was last seen on October 8, 2009, and they seemed excited about the new chapter they were about to start. Their plan was simple: drive up to the mountains, take a look at the land, and return. But they never did. On the day of their disappearance, they were seen loading up their pickup truck. Neighbors recall seeing them pack camping gear, presumably for an overnight stay. They even took their family dog, Maisie, along for the ride. Surveillance footage from their home captured the family moving back and forth between their house and the truck, almost as if they were in a trance-like state or highly focused on a task.
It took them an extremely long time to load the truck. They made 30, 40 trips, it seemed like. They changed clothes several times. They were taking things that they'd put in the truck and putting them back in the house, and then taking them back from the house and putting them back into the truck. They never interacted with each other the entire time they were doing it.
It was later discovered that they had packed a brown briefcase and a white envelope filled with cash, amounting to $32,000. The reason for carrying such a large sum remains a mystery. The family drove up the winding roads, through the thick forests that make the Oklahoma mountains so captivating, yet isolating. They parked their truck near where they were considering buying land. It seemed like any other family outing, complete with a camera to capture the moments. But something went terribly wrong after that picture was taken. Their truck was found abandoned just a few days later, locked and in good condition, but the family was nowhere to be found. Inside the truck were their wallets, IDs, mobile phones, a GPS system, and even the family dog Maisie, who was found alive but extremely malnourished.
I can't imagine him leaving her in the car at all. Leaving their coats in the car, their phones, the GPS, the cameras. It just doesn't make any sense why they would just get up and walk up the mountain without anything.
Most disturbingly, the camera they had taken with them was also found in the truck. It contained the last happy family photo, but also several pictures that were taken later, in the dark, showing only the landscape. Who took these photos and why remains an unsettling question. The family had vanished, leaving behind a series of bewildering clues and a community grasping for answers. The search for the Jamisons had begun, but it would take years before any substantial discoveries were made, leading many to speculate on what could have possibly happened during those disturbing final hours. The investigation into the Jamison family's disappearance was as perplexing as the incident itself. Local law enforcement, led by the Latimer County Sheriff's Office, initiated a search almost immediately after the family's truck was discovered. The truck was processed for evidence, but it yielded more questions than answers. The presence of the family's personal belongings, including their wallets, IDs, and mobile phones, suggested that they had not planned to be away for long. Another angle that investigators delved into was the family's financial situation. The discovery of $32,000 in cash in the truck led them to probe deeper into the Jamisons' financial records. Surprisingly, they found that the family was struggling financially, which made the presence of such a large sum even more baffling. Some speculated the money was intended for a real estate transaction, as the family had been looking to purchase a 40-acre plot of land near where their truck was found. Search teams combed through the rugged terrain, using dogs and helicopters equipped with thermal imaging cameras. Despite the extensive search operations, no trace of the family was found. The local community also rallied, organizing volunteer search parties and distributing flyers. Yet the dense forests and challenging landscapes seemed to have swallowed the Jamisons whole. The police explored multiple leads and theories. One theory suggested that the family had stumbled upon a meth lab in the remote mountains, leading to their disappearance. Another theory pointed to the possibility of the family being involved in occult practices, as Sherilyn had shown interest in witchcraft, and a witch's Bible was found in their home. The family's pastor even claimed that the Jamisons had spoken to him about their home being haunted, further fueling speculations. Sherilyn, his wife, had also written messages on a storage container found near their truck, one of which read, "3 cats killed to date by people in this area. Witches don't like their black cat killed." These eerie details add another level of complexity to the family's disappearance, making it not just a case of a family lost in the woods, but also a story intertwined with spiritual and possibly occult elements.
Sherilyn and Bobby believed that there were spirits in their house, and it frightened them.
She knew things about witchcraft. She did tell me that one time she had cast demons out of someone.
Investigators also looked into the family's personal life. They discovered that both Bobby and Sherilyn had suffered from depression and had been vocal about their struggles. Sherilyn's .22 caliber pistol was missing from the house, leading some to speculate about a murder-suicide scenario. However, the family's close friends and relatives vehemently dismissed this theory, stating that despite their struggles, the Jamisons were loving parents who would never harm their daughter. In a bizarre twist, the case caught the attention of online sleuths and amateur detectives who proposed theories ranging from alien abductions to involvement with white supremacist groups. These theories, while sensational, did not provide any concrete leads. The police were heavily criticized in their handling of the case. Despite the high-profile nature of the disappearance, the investigation seemed to hit a wall at every turn. Leads were followed, but led nowhere, and the lack of physical evidence made it difficult to construct a solid case. The authorities even consulted psychics in a desperate attempt to gain new insights, but to no avail. Years went by with no significant developments. The case grew cold, leaving a cloud of uncertainty that hung heavy over the community and the investigators who had poured countless hours into solving the mystery. In November 2013, a hunter in the Sans Bois Mountains of southeastern Oklahoma stumbled upon a grim discovery that would finally shed some light on the Jamison family's mysterious disappearance. The skeletal remains of 2 adults and a child were found, lying face down and arranged in a straight line, just 3 miles from where the family's pickup truck had been discovered 4 years earlier. DNA testing confirmed that the remains belonged to Bobby, Sherilyn, and their 6-year-old daughter, Madison Jamison. Despite the identification, the state of the remains presented a significant challenge for forensic experts. The bodies had been exposed to the elements for years, making it nearly impossible to determine the cause of death definitively. The medical examiner's office could only conclude that the cause of death was unknown, a verdict that did little to quell the swirling theories and speculations that had built up over the years. Various experts weighed in on the case, offering differing opinions. Some suggested that the family might have succumbed to hypothermia, given the cold weather conditions and the remote, rugged terrain where they were found. Others considered the possibility of a murder-suicide pact, although this theory was largely discredited due to the absence of a weapon near the remains. One of the most puzzling aspects of this case was the fate of the family's dog, Maisie, found alive but emaciated in the Jamisons' abandoned truck years earlier. Maisie was nursed back to health and subsequently adopted by a new family. The dog's survival raised even more questions. If the family had planned to disappear or commit suicide, why leave the dog in the truck? And if they were murdered, how did Maisie escape the same fate? Adding to the enigma was the unexplained $32,000 in cash found in the family's truck when they initially disappeared. This substantial amount was never accounted for and served as a tantalizing clue that led nowhere. The family's pastor further complicated matters by revealing that the Jamisons had claimed to be engaged in spiritual warfare, believing that their home was haunted. However, these claims were never substantiated with concrete evidence, and only served to deepen the mystery. Despite the tireless efforts of law enforcement agencies and independent investigators, the case eventually went cold. The lack of concrete evidence and the myriad of unanswered questions left a haunting void. The resolution of the Jamison family's disappearance turned out to be anything but conclusive, leaving a lingering sense of unease and a case that remains one of America's most perplexing unsolved mysteries.